The Werebear Druid is a real powerhouse in Season 2 in Diablo 4. Got a huge buff with the Overpower rework and the Vampiric Powers. With this build, you can almost one-shot every elite in a Nightmare Dungeon 100, can breeze through a Nightmare Dungeon 100 and can quickly kill the Nightmare 100 dungeon boss. And the build is perfectly fit for the new canon Avatar of Seer that is coming in 2 weeks. But why is this build so strong? It is because of the interaction with our companions. I got every companion slotted in, and it's because the Shepherd's aspect. This aspect gives us up to 10% more damage for every companion if you socket it in your weapon. It is even a bonus of 20%. We got 2 wolves, 1 poison creeper and 3 ravens that attack our enemies, so it is a total of 6 companions and a 60% multiplicative damage boost. It gets even doubled if you will socket in your weapon, so you get a total boost of 120% damage. If you slot in the aspect of the stampede, you will get +1 companion. It even scales up to a 180% damage. And this is our huge damage boost. Another reason is the many sources of overpower. Through our Vampiric Power, we will get an overpower every 20 seconds. With Banished Lord Talisman after we spend 300 spirit. Our Pulverize also will overpower the enemy every 12 seconds as long as we stay healthy. And our Provocation will overpower our enemy every 60 seconds if we stay that long in the Werebear form, which is really nice for a big first hit on a boss. So before we jump into the gear, the Skilltree and the Paragon Board, a quick introduction from me. I'm Angren, a German YouTube content creator and Twitch streamer, and I thought this is a good time to start my English channel. So please be patient and have some mercy with me if I misspell some words. So let's start with our gear. What do we want in our gear? So at first I got a Harlequin's Crest. I know it is really rare and you don't need it for your slot, but if you got it, just sock it in. If you don't have it, just go with a legendary and go with the aspect of disobedience for more armor and try to socket in cooldown reduction, spirit after an enemy kill, and total armor. And for a boss, just go with the Godzilla Ground. For the chest slot, we got the Insatiable Fury. We have overpower, physical damage, total armor while in Werebear form, and damage reduction while fortified, and we also stay in our Werebear form, and we got 3 skills. So we have everything we want. Farm it, I think it drops on Varshan, and try to get really good rolls on every single affix on this item. As next, we got the gloves. I socket in the Shepherd's aspect. If you have a perfect one with a 10% roll, try to socket in your weapon, so you will get 20%, and socket the Pulverize aspect in your gloves, and change it with another aspect, but I will come to this later. For affixes, go for critical strike chance, overpower damage, and pulverize. These are 3 best affixes, and also try to get either intelligence or willpower. So as next, we got T-Bot's Will in our pens. This is really mandatory for the style of build I'm playing. Also the Banished Lord Talisman. If you don't have T-Bot's Will yet but want to start the build, you might have to socket out Bloodhowl and socket in basic skill. It's not that nice, but it just works. You don't have that really nice flow with the build, but I think it should work. So in the boots, I got the aspect that your damage from earth skill slows enemy. This is our only part of slowing enemies, to will get a huge damage buff from our skill tree. And for the implicit of the boots, try to take attacks reduce evades cooldown or the more stacks of evade. For the effects, I got really bad boots. Just go with movement speed, willpower. You can go with total armor while werewolf form, because we got really bad armor if you are in werewolf form. So you can socket in, but it is not that recommended. And just go with another source of spirit cost reduction and maybe movement speed after you kill an elite enemy. Next, onto our weapon. Try to take as implicit the damage to crowd control enemies, because we got an Paragon node that will boost your critical strike damage multiplicatively if you will get more damage to crowd control enemies. It is really good. For example, if I will switch out my weapon, I only got 21%, so it gives us in total of 14%. You can maybe go with an implicit with overpower damage, but I won't recommend it. And as the affixes, try to get overpower damage with Werebear skills, overpower in general, willpower, and damage to crowd control enemies. This will be your best bet. And with the aspect, go with the shockwave aspect. as I said previously, you can go with the aspect of Shepherd, but you really need that max roll on it. So in the amulet slot, we got the Banished Lord Talisman. It has everything we want. After we spend a 300 primary resource, we overpower our next enemy, and if it will crit, it will do 120% multiplicatively damage, really good. Try also to get a high critical strike chance roll and a resource generation roll. The overpower damage is nice, but not that mandatory to get a high roll. On our rings, we got the aspect of retaliation and the aspect of the Ursan Horror. So our Pulverize will get an air skill, and we got really nice damage boost from our air skill tech, and also more core skill damage the higher amount of fortify we have. So it's really important. If you will socket the Shepherd's aspect into a weapon with the max roll, go with the aspect of the stampede, because we'll get 4 more companions and you will get a total damage boost of 80%. So it even doubles the amount as if you have aspect of retaliation. But as I said, you really need that perfect roll on the aspect of the Shepherd. So for the fixes, go with critical strike chance, overpower damage, damage to crowd control enemies, and either damage to slot enemies or critical strike damage. So for our games, we got that Ruby slot in our armor and weapon, because we want more maximum life. As with more maximum life, we got more damage, and also with our weapon we got more overpower damage. In our jewel slot, we got the diamond for more resistance to all elements. With our spirit boons, we got Weariness for reduced damage to elites, Iron Feather for more maximum life, and Scythe Talents for more increased critical strike chance. Also Pack Leader, so we can reset our Poison Creeper for the poison dot and our envenom. But if you don't need it and already do enough damage, you can also take Bolster, so you have more of a defensive component. And for the snake, go with Obsidian Slam, so you will overpower the enemies after every 20 kill. For Vampiric Powers, we'll go with Blood Boil, because we'll overpower the enemy after every 20 seconds. Resilence, so we got another layer of damage reduction. Second Embrace, this mandatory because we got 8% crit chance, and also fortify after every enemy we kill. Metamorphosis is also mandatory for our spirit generation, and Hemomancy. It does not do a lot of damage, but why do we take Hemomancy? Because we will vulnerable our enemies with the first hit. The problem with Pulverize is if we press Pulverize without a Hemomancy, it will get damage and then gets vulnerable. So our second Pulverize will then benefit from the vulnerable. But if you do damage through our Hemomancy, it will tick that damage first and will make the enemy vulnerable. And so the first tick of Pulverize also kills the enemy most of the times, because it got that vulnerable tag, and it also helps by bosses for a huge damage spike. So I did not take Prayer in the Week on purpose, because the problem with this is, I will also post a video about this in a few days, that you only get this huge multiplicative bonus if you will get them vulnerable through your Vampiric Powers, not through our cliffs. What did we skill in our tree? At first, we can go for whatever base skill you want, because we will never need it. We'll need to put 2 points in it, so we can get through to our Pulverize. We will then max Pulverize, and we will take Primal Pulverize, just because we get a nice extra damage reduction. You could also take Raging Pulverize, but mostly the enemies are dead if you will overpower them. So a nice little DR is better in my opinion. And also we're gonna put 1 point in Heart of the Wild, so we can take 3 points in Wild Impulses. Also we're gonna take 3 points in the Predatory Instinct, because we're always in the close range, and also 3 points in Iron Fur, so we will get a nice bonus damage reduction. For the defensive skills, we will go just 1 point with Blood Howl, and the Enhanced Blood Howl and Innate Blood Howl for our Spirit generation, and also take 1 point in Ancestral Fortitude if you gonna max out your resistance. If you're not max with 1 point, go with 3 points. Also, we're gonna take Vigilance for extra 50% damage reduction after we cast our Bloodhound. So at the companion skills, we put 1 point into the Wolves, and 1 point in the Poison Creeper and the Brutal Poison Creeper, so we get in total 20% extra crit chance every time we will root them. And also the Ravens and the Brutal Ravens, we get in total 2 additional Ravens, and also you got a nice little critical strike chance sometimes. At the wrath skills, take 3 points into crushing earth, because our boots, the enemies are always slow, and also 3 points in Storm Guard, this nice additional damage boost, and 1 point into Safeguard, so we have an additional Modifier generation, 1 point in mending, and 3 points in provocation for our overpower source, and 1 point in trample, as also a savage trample for our spirit generation, and 1 point into neurotoxin, and 3 points into envenom, because our poison creeper always poison our enemies. It is not additive as it's shown here, it's just a tooltip bug. And onto our ultimate skills, we use 3 points into Defiance and 3 points into Natural Disaster for a nice little damage boost. And also I didn't take any ultimate skills. Why? I tested it with Crystal Rage and also Petrify. The problem is we need Bloodhowl and Trample to maintain our spirit generation. I tested without Trample and an ultimate skill, or without Bloodhowl and an ultimate skill, and there were always points where I just ran out of energy and couldn't do anything, and that felt really bad. So I don't recommend that you take an ultimate skill. Last but not least, the Ursa and Strength. It gives everything we want. Max life, more overpowered damage, and more increased damage as long as we are staying healthy. So onto the Paragon board. I will also post a char planner in the description and the comments, so you can check out the char planner and also ask questions in the comments. We'll go with the Shapeshifter Cleave in our first board, because we're always shapeshifting with our Bloodhowl and Pulverize and so on. We always get the 90% crit chance boost. Also, we will get more resistance and damage. And so our next board is the Inner Beast. We'll get a huge spirit reduction if we will shapeshift often, what we really do. So here, get in the Dominate Cleave for more overpower damage, also the Determination and Shapeshifter for more damage and armor. And for the next board, go with the Earth and Devastation. As I previously said, it gives you a huge bonus to your crit damage with earth skills, and go with the Werebear Cleave. And as next, go with this board, and then with that, because you want the bonus of this skills. And we will go with the Ancestral Guidance. It will give us a nice damage boost after we spend 75 spirit. And also go with the Fang and Claw Cleave. It will do more damage against the close targets enemies, and we also get more resistance on more core skill damage. The next Paragon board will be your Survival Instincts. Will do more damage as the enemy gets lower health, so you can really one-shot boss with 40 or 30% health left, and also get the Exploit Cleave in. This is our only source of vulnerable. And as the last spot, take the Constricting Tendrils, but only go with the Paragon Cleave slot with Earth and Sky. It gives us more multiplicative damage, and also Courage and Nature's Will for more damage and armor. The last thing I want to show you is how you can deal with elites and the bosses. Go in to the elite and cast your Poison Creeper, and then just hold on to Pulverize. If you get low on spirit, use your Metamorphosis after that Bloodhowl, and if you got everything else on cooldown, use Trample, so you should never just run out of spirit. If you fight against the boss, dash through the boss, so you will apply the Vampiric Curse and the Vulnerable through Prey on the Weak. Then cast Pulverize once for the guaranteed overpower proc, then press Poison Creeper to poison the boss, and then go with your Rota until the boss is dead. That's it for my build guide. I hope I could show you a really cool build guide that works in every part of the game, that can you get through Über Lilith, that can get you through Nightmare Dungeon 100, and also will get you through Avatar of Sea. I will also post a video as soon as the Avatar of Sea is live. And as I said in the beginning of the video, please have some mercy if I misspelled some words. I'm constantly trying to improve myself, and also it will get improved as I'm doing more videos in English. So you can also post in the comments which I can do better, and which build you are playing, and which build you are playing to build for Avatar of Sea. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!